Welcome to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm Woody Zimmerman here with Mark Skabowski at Remax Lakes. Welcome to the show.
Here we are, morning.
Good morning. And I'll tell you what, this is my favorite time of year because temperatures are like 80 during the day, 40 at night. We're in football season. Yep, we are in the fall, and I love it. I love it.
It's a good. I kind of get rejuvenated
Yeah.
for whatever reason. The fall is my better time as well.
Yeah.
So where it's like you've been, going through the year and it's blah 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 hot. I just get worn out, but then the fall comes and you're right. That cool, crisp weather brings out the best in you.
Yeah, and I just think homes have so much curb appeal during the fall. It just
As long as the leaves haven't fallen yet.
Right,
Early
I
fall.
know.
Let's-
Early fall.
Early
Yeah.
fall.
Yeah,
Before
that's-
it gets too cold and
Mhm.
the leaves start coming down.
Yeah, that
But
is true.
I enjoy this time of year. Running. It's cooler.
Hmm.
You can run farther when it's a little cooler.
You got a marathon coming up
I
here?
got a marathon coming up. We were talking a little bit off air. It's
Yeah.
the end of October, and the realization hit me. It's like, oh man,
It's coming up.
I'm 40 days out.
Yeah, yeah, right.
I'm 40 days out.
Yeah,
I better get to it.
yeah.
I've been doing it.
I'm sure you'll be fine.
I've been doing it, but I tell you, well, it's in D.C. It's the Marine Corps Marathon.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So in D.C. you never know what you're going to get in October as far as weather goes.
That's true. Yeah.
And like I say, cooler is better.
Yeah.
As far as running goes, I ran the Air Force Marathon, I think back in 2017 or 2018, and it was like 85 degrees, and that was just miserable.
Mm-hmm.
We had a thunderstorm before we started,
Mm-hmm.
so the humidity came in. I mean, you thought the thunderstorm or the humidity will go away. Well, it didn't. It was miserable.
Mm-hmm.
But I finished it.
Okay.
But it was miserable. I am not fast. I'm that guy traipsing in at the tail end of it to get it done. But for me, it's just a way to get out, clear my head, do my thing. Hurt a lot while you're running, but it's an accomplishment when you're done.
Yeah.
So
Well, okay, you may not be fast, but yet you do it.
I do
and, And most people don't.
I do it. I finish
Me
it.
being one of those.
my wife, no more. She's
Yeah.
ran. I think she ran 4 fulls,
Yeah.
full marathons, and everybody always asks, "Well, how far is that?" Well, the marathon distance is the same. It's 26.2 miles.
Yeah.
She's ran 4 of them. She said at her 4th one, I will never do another one.
Yeah.
She'll run a half, 13
Okay.
miles, because you hurt half as much.
Right. Yeah.
That's the difference. You hurt half as much.
Yeah.
And then there's those ultra marathoners. People that go out and do 50 milers, 100 milers. I can't imagine.
No.
I cannot. A lot of people can't imagine doing 26. I can't imagine doing 50 or
No.
100. I just could not.
Right.
26 is enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Wow, that's a lot.
that is a lot.
All
But
right.
football's going on.
Yep, football's going on. Love it. That's just my time of season.
Yeah, I enjoy watching college. I do
Yeah.
watch a little bit of pro, but I enjoy watching college.
Yeah, me
football.
too. Yeah, that's right. Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah, well.
I know it's. I
Yeah,
know.
well, I'm a Spartan. I
All
can't
right.
help myself.
Right.
Go
Fingers,
green.
fingers are crossed for this weekend.
That's
So,
it.
yeah, we get the struggles
That's
are
it.
there. All right.
All
All
right.
right. I know we're talking about interest rates here today.
Interest rates.
And it's been on everybody's mind pretty much like all year long. And people are like, well, I'm thinking about moving, but I'm
Yeah.
going to wait for the rates to drop.
Right.
Well, it sounds like the feds are working towards that.
Well, they're predicting, and that's the thing. Prognosticators,
I should say
they predict,
predicting, yeah.
all. But the signs are showing that inflation is settling down, and the reason they didn't want to drop rates is because they were afraid they would incite more spending,
Yeah.
which ultimately would lead to more inflation, prices
Mhm.
going higher. So the Fed, the anticipation is they're going to reduce rates. There's now discussion between 1/4 point and 1/2 point at their next meeting, which is coming up in the next week or so. So will that happen? I don't know. But the predictions are 1/4 and 1/2 point rate cut. The markets in interest rates are already beginning to see some reflection of that. They think it's going to happen.
Mhm.
So you've seen rates start to pull back slightly. I mentioned before, I get weekly reports from different banks. That I got this week, 6 3/8 is a 30-year fixed loan.
Okay.
I had another one at 5 7/8. So we're edging closer to that 6% rate mark. So why is that important to people? Well, if you're buying, the interest rate's important. Long term, the amount that it's going to cost you monthly
Yeah.
is very important. But, we focus so much on rate. All things beyond our control. What can we control is our own personal situation.
Yep.
And what type of financing that we ultimately choose. So many people, all they ever do is call and say, well, what's the rate? Well, for which program is what I would counter with. I would say, okay, what program are you talking about? Do you have money saved for down payment? Or do you need a 100% financing program? Or is there a lesser amount? Do you have any money for down payment? So the important piece beyond just rate, and the Fed is important. Yes, that interest rate is important. I'm not, setting that to the side. But there are other factors to consider is the type of loan financing you're using. And what did you do to get prepared for that? And after the break, we'll talk a little bit more about those things and what we think the Fed's going to do.
All right, very good. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm Woody Zimmerman here with Mark Skabowski of Remax Lakes, and we're talking about trying to predict the future here a little bit. The Feds have been talking about interest rates in the coming year, and it looks like they're going to come down.
Yeah, so the prediction is between 5.5% and 6.5%. So today we've got folks that are sitting at 6 3/4. Oh gosh, I missed the boat. I should have waited. Well, you always have to make your decision based on what's best for you.
Yeah.
And deal with what's there at the time. Remember, we've done shows. We're back in the 80s. Interest rates were 18%. Then when we bought, they were 7.5% and 8%, and all of those things. You can only deal with what you have.
Right.
So what we currently have, the market conditions are probably around 6.5%. If you bought at 7%, it's not the end of the world. Pay ahead on your mortgage. And ultimately, if you're going to stay there, what's your why? How long are you going to stick around?
Right.
Maybe refinancing is an option. Maybe refinancing once the rates drop. There are tools. You can talk to a lender. Hey, here's my current rate. Here's what my current payment is. What's the cost for me to refinance? Can I roll those financing costs into
I was going to bring that up because sometimes it's very they make it very, very easy for you to do a refi.
They do. Now, everybody's situation is different.
Yeah.
If you're going to move in a year, I would say don't refi.
Right.
It makes no sense because there is a cost to refinancing. Yeah, they're rolling it into my mortgage. Well, that's great. They rolled it into your mortgage, but you now just rolled in $2,500, $3,500, $4,000 worth of cost that you wouldn't have had if you didn't refi just to have that better rate. So it's not always just the rate. What can we control? We can control the amount of money that we have to put down. I say we can control that. We control how much we spend in general. We control how much we earn in general. So you do have some control. Your credit score impacts what rate you're going to get. If you've got a lower credit score, you're not going to get the premium rates that a lot of times you see advertised, right? So you still have to do what's best for you, but it's not always just about the rate. So that's where it's important to talk to your lender and ask them for what are the alternatives. So if you bought recently and you're thinking about refining, talk to the person that you bought with, your mortgage broker, your bank, whoever it was that you purchased with. Hey, is there a refi option? Some of the banks over the last few years have offered programs that were, hey, we're going to lock your rate for this for a certain amount of time, and we'll refi you for a lower cost if rates drop. Many lenders had those programs. So I guess the educated consumer is important. And what I'm saying is it's worth the time and the effort to make the phone call to your lender to ask, hey, rates have dropped. Is there anything you can do for me? And let them give you options. If you're making a new purchase from a buyer's standpoint, you definitely want to have a pre-approval before you go and buy. That is very important. And, I know that's a big thing near and dear to me. Why would I show somebody if they have pre-approval?
Right, exactly, yeah.
Right? Why would a seller allow someone in their house without a pre-approval?
Right.
Right? Now, does it happen? Yes, it does. But you really should, if you're going to submit an offer, and there are still people out there, and I say people, either uneducated consumers or agents that are, in my opinion, aren't doing their job, telling people we need to have a pre-approval before you submit an offer, because you send me an offer, how do I know anything about this person?
Right.
How do I know if they're capable of purchasing? That's
Right.
the importance. From a buyer's standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
when I submit my offer, I want to submit a good offer. I want to make sure that I'm in the game.
Mm-hmm.
When I get those, because I'm a listing agent as well, when I advise the seller, well, we need to have a pre-approval. Otherwise, how do we make the decision?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't have time to get a pre-approval.
Yeah.
Not a good excuse.
No, that's not.
That's not my problem when
Right.
I'm the seller. It really is not.
Right.
If you're truly interested in buying my house, put a little effort into it and get it. Well, my lender doesn't work on the weekend. If you're truly interested in buying, if you're in the game, if you're in the market to purchase,
Yeah.
you probably would have gone through those steps. In advance.
If you're not pre-approved, you're a tire kicker. That's all you're doing.
You're just looking.
Yeah.
And in submitting an offer without a pre-approval is you're putting yourself in a negative position.
Mhm.
The seller's first thought is, well, how interested are they really? Was this
Yeah.
just a knee-jerk reaction? Are they going to react that same way all along the way? They do inspections. Are they going to, oh gosh, I don't want to buy the house because light switches don't match, the
Yeah.
paint color.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Crazy things.
Mhm.
So, and multiple transactions are falling apart due to inspections and things nowadays. But we had years of nothing going wrong because people were buying without inspection.
right,
So,
right.
so the pendulum has shifted. We're back to have your house in the best condition, in the best possible condition,
Right.
and be prepared for inspections and things like that. So a little bit off topic there, but I'm passionate about it. Can't help myself.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So as far as interest rates go, the Fed, if they do reduce, rates will drop. Now they're not going to go to 3%. We're not going to see that. The predictions for 25,
Mm-hmm.
and it's crazy to be sitting here in 24. So
I know.
the predictions for 25
Yeah.
are going to be between 5.5% and 6.5% are
Okay.
probably where rates are going to settle.
All right, 5.5. I mean, on the low end, that sounds pretty good because I remembered not that long ago they were 5.5.
They were.
Yeah, so
and,
it's
and things were going well.
you're right, exactly. And
Things are going well.
Things were going well. The
Yeah.
economy was booming, and so we can get back to that if everything pans out the way
Yeah.
they're hoping.
The,
it
the
will.
way they're hoping, and of course, the next jobs report and market indicators, things could all change that, but that's what the predictions are today.
Okay. All right. Very good. Well, yeah, lots of good information in today's show. So
Talk
thank
about
you.
football.
Yeah, we talked about football as well. We got that. All right. If you'd like to continue this conversation with Mark, make sure you reach out. Your contact info.
Sure, the website, skabowskiteam.com. Phone number is 574-527-0660. You can always email me, Mark at skabowskiteam.com.
And then you post our mugs on YouTube as
I
well.
do.
So
Check out our YouTube channel. We're
Okay.
out here. We post them and they're there for eternity. I
Yeah,
guess.
exactly. Thank you. And you've been listening to Real Estate in Real Time. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.